That's all well and good. We know how to find the surface area of rectangular prisms and cubes, but that doesn't help us with this shape, a triangular prism, namely the triangular prism when it's available as a net. If you take a look at this shape, it's made up of 2 triangles and 3 rectangles. That's going to be the basic format for pretty much all triangular prisms. So step 1 is to find the area of all of the shapes available, at least when it's in a net. After that, you simply add them together. Easy enough? Let's go ahead and try this rectangle. It's got a height of 8, we can see that quite plainly. How about the base? Take a look at the numbers available and see if you can figure out before I tell you what number are we going to use as the base. If you said 7, think it again. It's going to be 6. See, like I was saying earlier with that rectangular prism, a triangular prism is no different. If I take this edge right here of my rectangle and fold it upwards and connect it with this triangle, it's going to match up perfectly. There is absolutely no overlap and no gap left over. So this edge is shared by this edge. So the area of this area is going to be 6 by 8. 6 times 8 gives me 48. It looks like this rectangle is going to be the same. So 6 by 6, 8 right here. We're going to do 6 times 8 again to give me 48. Now you'll notice the rectangle in the middle actually has a different width. It has a width of 7 and a height of 8. That's something you're going to see rather frequently whenever you deal with triangular prisms. The area of this rectangle in the middle is going to be 7 times 8, which is going to give me 56. Now for the 2 triangles on the end. Let's pretend for a moment that I actually know how to draw, and this triangle is the same as this triangle. Both of them have a height of 4. Both of them have a base of 7. So I do 7 times 4, that gives me 28. 28, of course, has to be divided by 2 since this is a triangle. And that's going to give me an area of 14 for both triangles. Last but not least, we're going to take all of these numbers and add them up. 48 plus 48, that's going to give me 96. Go ahead and write that down. 96 plus 14, that gives me 28. Plus 56, we're going to go ahead and take all those numbers and add them up. 6 plus 8 gives me 20, carry the 2. Then I've got 5 plus 2, that's 9 plus 9, that gives me 18. My final answer for the surface area of this triangular prism should be 180 units squared. All right, let's take a look at what to do when there is no net. If you have a triangular prism but no net, it's going to look something sort of like this. It's going to be mostly the same as the format for the rectangular prisms, except now we have a lot more to deal with, and a little bit less. We're going to have 2 triangles, triangle 1 and triangle 2. These are always going to be the same. In any triangular prism, you're going to have 2 triangles and they are always going to be the same size. If your 2 triangles are not the same size, it is not a triangular prism. The rectangles could be all different sizes, or 2 of them could be the same size, or all of them could be the same size. That part may vary, but the triangles must be the same. Regardless, we're going to have 3 rectangles, rectangle 1, rectangle 2, and rectangle 3. At the end, you're going to add all 5 of the shapes up. No need to double it because there's nothing to double. So, triangle 1 and 2, let's find the area of those. First, what's the base of that triangle? Looks like it's going to be 4. And the height is going to be 3. Okay, so simple enough. Base times height divided by 2. We take 4 times 3 gives me 12. Divided by 2 gives me 6. The area of both my rectangles is going to give me 6. Now for the area of my rectangles. Let's see. It looks like this is going to be an equilateral triangle. So if this side is 4 right here, that means this side is going to be 4. Now that side's going to be 4. That side's going to be 4. But wait a minute, all 3 of those sides are being shared by the rectangles. This means that all 3 of my rectangles are going to be the same. However many sides of your triangle that are the same, that's how many sides of your rectangles that are going to be the same. So let's find out how to find the area of this rectangle right here. it looks like it is 7 units long, and it looks like the edge right here, the slanted edge, is going to be 4 units. So I take 7 units times 4 units. That's going to give me 28 units squared. And of course, if all of those sides are exactly the same, all of these are going to be 28 units squared. Finally, add them all up. 28 plus 28 plus 28, that's going to give me, let's see, 60 plus 16, that gives me 76. 76 plus 6 plus 6, that's going to give me 12. So 76 plus 12, that gives me 88. 88 units squared. 88 units squared for this problem. Okay? And this is going to work for any triangular prism you could possibly come across. All right, I know I've broken this up into 2 parts. I know you're tired of hearing about surface area, but we've got one more shape I really want to talk about, aside from the triforce that I mentioned earlier. This is going to be a rectangular pyramid. All right? It's not going to be a prism. It's not going to be a triangular pyramid, which is going to have the appearance of a triforce. This is how a typical pyramid will look. All right? Those of you in social studies and history, you'll notice this is the shape that the Great Pyramids of Giza in Egypt are looking like, okay? They have a square base. It's still called a rectangular pyramid most of the time, but it does have a square base, and all 4 of the triangles are the same. There are going to be some cases where you do have a rectangular pyramid in which 2 of the triangles are going to be the same and the other 2 triangles are going to be the same. Okay? So be aware of that. But let's take a look at how to find the surface area of a rectangular pyramid. Step 1, if you are completely certain that this shape is a square, you can go ahead and assume that the base of all 4 of the triangles is the same. So the base of all these triangles is 6. Next, you can assume that the height of all the triangles are the same. So the height of all the triangles are going to be 4. Now that we've made that assumption, we can go ahead and make a different assumption. We can assume that the area of this square is just going to be base times height. 6 times 6, 36. Next, we can assume that all the triangles are going to have the same area. Since the base is 6 and the height is 4, we're going to do base times height, 6 times 4. That gives us 24, and then we divide by 2 since this is a triangle. That gives me 12 for the area of all of these shapes. So 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12 is going to give me 48, just 12 times 4. Then we take that 48 and add 36. Gives me 84 units squared. And that's about it. There's nothing left for me to tell you about surface area. All right, guys. I hope today's video was informative. Stay tuned next time. In the meantime, this is Mr. A. Have a nice night.